Big boy pants, get them on. No crybaby diapers. We're talking Portsmouth. In order to talk about Portsmouth, you've got to put your big boy pants on. You're on the Straight Talk Express. There's a mayor's race there. The new mayor will be decided on November the 8th in Portsmouth. There's 3 candidates that are in the race, in my judgment. Others, but as customary on the John Fredericks Show, if I don't think they're viable, we don't bother to have them on the show because they're not viable. So this is a 3-candidate race, in my judgment, and I'm always right about this stuff. Incumbent Kenny Wright, under fire, negatives through the roof. I don't think he's going to get reelected. John Rowe, former city manager of Portsmouth, basically was the CEO there, a bureaucrat, and he has run the city 5 out of the last 6 years. He got fired by Kenny Wright. Now he's challenging him for mayor. He has the backing of Bill Moody and some other people. And then the third candidate, and I've got this in a 3-way dead heat, any of these candidates can win, is Shannon Glover, who is with us now. Shannon is a businessman. He's from outside of the system, so he's an outsider, and he's running for mayor. Shannon, welcome.
Thank you, John. Glad to be here, man.
All right, now we're going to ask Shannon a host of questions about why he's running for mayor, his vision of the city, and things like that, because Portsmouth and Norfolk and Virginia Beach, obviously critical mayoral positions in Hampton Roads. All right, Shannon, you're from outside this system. You're a business guy. Why are you running for mayor of Portsmouth?
Well, first of all, John, I'd like to thank you again for being here. Look, I'm running for mayor to bring positive change to our city. I want to bring collaborative leadership that is accountable. I want to bring back civility and trust to our community and let them know that the public servants are there to serve them in their best interests.
Well, that's certainly a refreshing view. Let's talk about what is your vision for Portsmouth? Where do you want to take it as opposed to where it is now?
Well, my vision for Portsmouth, first of all, let me just say Portsmouth has great potential. We just need an organized, focused effort to realize that potential. There are some key areas that we need to improve in, but ultimately where I want to take Portsmouth is a city that is growing economically by providing living wage jobs and workforce development, a city that is improving educationally by helping our students and our educators and supporting that effort, also creating career and technical education, expanding career and technical education and vocational training. I want to help our city realize its potential in tourism. I see Portsmouth being a tourist destination. This city is older than Williamsburg. It could be a quaint, charming location for visitors, just like Old Town Alexandria or Newport, Rhode Island, if given a chance. And last but not least, I see Portsmouth supporting our public servants, our fire and police to the highest level, ensuring that we have a safe community that provides a high standard of quality of life.
Now, Shannon, you're from outside the system. You've not run for office in the past. You don't have political experience. You haven't been running the city like former city manager John Rowe has and others. What makes you qualified to be mayor?
Well, what most importantly I think makes me qualified is because the mayor is the leader, is the face of the city. The mayor is the person that will work with the community and the council to make sure that we're working in a harmonious way to create the opportunities that I just shared with you. What also qualifies me is that I've been in service to my community in a lot of different ways. So I just see this as another opportunity to serve the community in the political sense of bringing folks together. We've got some real challenges in Portsmouth, and we have division in Portsmouth. And so I want to work hard on behalf of the citizens of Portsmouth to heal, unite, and grow our city.
Okay, so let's talk about some of your opponents. Both of them have criticized you and saying, look, you're not even from the area. I mean, you were there a while, then you moved to Suffolk. Some say you moved back just to run for mayor. How do you respond to that?
Well, I respond to that is, the Navy brought my wife Paula and I here in 1990, served at the Naval Hospital. And so we were married in Portsmouth. Our children were born in Portsmouth. And I bought my first house in Portsmouth. And so we did move to Suffolk. However, I've owned our daycare centers in Portsmouth for over 16 years. All of my civic engagement and service work in our community has been in the city of Portsmouth. I am intimately involved and have been involved with the city government and business leaders in the city of Portsmouth. And using those relationships and helping our city to move forward is what I intend to do.
Okay, so the criticism that you just moved back to the city in order to run for mayor is just not true.
No, it's absolutely not true. Paul and I have always talked about moving back to the city that gave us so much, and we feel a personal indebtedness and commitment to making our city better. So as I've served in all the different organizations that I served in, and you can check the record, my focus has always been to improve the lives of the people that I care about and make a difference in the lives in our community.
Shannon, before we forget, I want to give a shout out to Cheryl Reddington, your former communications director for the campaign. Shannon had to take a leave of absence. She had a double mastectomy, and hopefully she's telling me that they got the cancer out. It's in remission now. And so we just want to give a shout out to her and ask anybody. She just actually got back from the hospital 2 days ago or 3 days ago.
Correct, John.
So let's give a shout out to Cheryl, a good friend of mine, and also keep Cheryl in your prayers. Suffering from a double mastectomy, not an easy thing to do.
That's correct.
Without a doubt. And she did a fine job for Shannon when she was involved in your campaign. Obviously now she's on a leave of absence, but maybe if you win, she'll get to go back and work at City Hall when she recovers. Shannon, what are some of the big differences between yourself and incumbent Mayor Wright? What is different? What are you going to do differently?
Well, one of the things that I'm going to do is I'm going to be a collaborator. It's very important to me. I believe in a concept called servant leadership. And what that requires is you bring together the best and the brightest with their talents. And unlike traditional leadership that's top down, you give those leaders the opportunity to do their best work in what they do. I'm just going to be one of the team of 7 that serve on our city council. I plan to bring our city council together to work on the big issues that our city faces. And my focus every day that I come into office will be just that. We have a lot to do in Portsmouth. As I said, we have a lot of potential, but if we don't take advantage of the opportunities that we have by bringing in the people that can get the work done, then we are not going to reach that potential.
Shannon, what are some of the specific plans that you have that are different from the 2 of the big 3 candidates running for mayor?
Well, one of the things that I've said from day one, I come from a single parent home. My mom raised 6 children. One of the things a couple of things she taught us to certainly respect others, to work hard, earn your education, and when you earned your education and you got a job or career, you're able to help somebody do that. And don't ever forget where you came from. So with that said, one of the things that I plan to do, because I understand a lot of families in Portsmouth are hurting, my focus is absolutely going to be economic development and workforce development and getting living wage jobs in our city. As I shared with you, Portsmouth unfortunately has the highest poverty rate of all the cities in Southampton Roads. That's an issue that affects a lot of people. But more importantly, it affects our city as we have one of the highest tax rates in Hampton Roads, the highest. And so by attracting those companies, helping people get living wage jobs, we will ultimately have a goal of reducing that tax base and making sure that we don't provide or add additional taxes to our seniors and our homeowners.
Well, you've been in a budget crisis for some time. Why not just raise taxes and be done with it?
Well, to me, that's not the answer to the bigger issue. The bigger issue is we have to create additional revenue streams. And whatever I will be able to do along with the other council members as we sit down and go over the budget, the last thing that I will ever want to do is to continue to burden our seniors and our citizens by raising their taxes.
So you're not going to raise taxes under any circumstances?
That's not what I intend to do.
Now,
no.
What about John Rowe, one of your opponents, said he got fired because he didn't give Kenny Wright the numbers for the budget that he wanted. Is there any truth at all to that?
I'm not very familiar with the whole scenario that took place. I mean, I knew what happened via the papers, but other than that, I wasn't a part of those discussions.
Shannon, Kenny Wright, is he a failed mayor?
In my estimation, he is.
Why?
Look, when I measure success of any leader of any organization or government, you have to go back to the basics. And when I judge it, I look at, is that leader collaborative? Is that leader bringing folks together to solve the unique problems of either the community or the country? Is that leader open to discussion? Are they transparent? Is the leader willing to listen and hear what the citizens have to say? And when I look at those areas that I use and determine if the leader was effective, the current mayor, Mr. Kenny Wright, has not done that effectively. And as a result, I think a lot of people in our community have gotten a feeling of they're not a part of the process. And if you know about city government in particular, at the top of the org chart in the city of Portsmouth are the citizens. They're the most important part of our city, and we need to make sure as leaders we never misunderstand that, or that we never take away their voice to be heard.
So Kenny Wright's negatives are very high. Can he win on November 8th?
You know, I think you're going to have to ask the voters that. I certainly don't hope so, and I don't think so. So I think if I've been spending a lot of time out in the community, and what I can tell you is folks are looking for change in the city of Portsmouth. They're looking for a breath of fresh air, a leader that can heal, unite, and grow our city. And a lot of those folks have turned to me. I have listened to them. And so I think that it's going to come down to November 8th, who the people will choose as their next leader in the city of Portsmouth.
Now, Bill Watson was on our show, the sheriff of Portsmouth, I think about a week ago. Mm-hmm. And he said that basically this is a two-person race, right row. And he said that you basically couldn't win and that you were just acting as the spoiler and helping Kenny Wright get reelected by splitting the anti-Wright vote. How do you respond to that?
Well, first of all, my response is a vote for Shannon Glover is a vote for Shannon Glover. There is no need or desire to think that anyone is split in the vote. It comes down to numbers. And when the citizens of Portsmouth go to the polls on November the 8th, they need to think about who is the leader that they will choose to move our city in a positive direction, that does not have any of the baggage to bring to the table, but is only interested in bringing our city together so that it can reach its full potential. That's what's going to matter, and that's what I believe.
Do you think in the past 5 or 6 years or so, do you think the city's been run and managed well?
I think there has been some areas that it's been run and managed well, but overall, I would say it's 50-50.
So one of your opponents, John Rowe, he's been the city manager. He's been the CEO for 5 out of the last 6 years in there. I'm going to get to him in a minute. I've only got a couple of minutes here. Let's get to the phone lines. Let's get to Mike, the Republican in Portsmouth. Mike, there's 3 Republicans in Portsmouth, we understand.
Yeah, there's only 3 of us. It seems like. But I'd just like to say that I'm supporting Kenny Wright. There are a lot of reasons, but the last of it all is the petition that they held against Kenny Wright for several months, and come to find out they had several signatures that were not accepted after all the hoopla. It had to be shouted. It had to be put down by the courts. Now, what says about those people that was running the petition drive? If Kenny Wright's supposed to be so corrupt, and yes, I saw the video where he pushed out the media, and that was troubling. But what says that about the people that was holding the petition drive? Now, Mr. Glover, I don't know that much about him, but a vote for him will split the percentage so much, no matter who you like or don't like, it won't be him as mayor. It'll go to either Wright or Rowe.
Okay, so we're going to give Shannon Glover, candidate for mayor, a chance to answer your query.
Hey, Mike. Hey, Mike, Shannon Glover. Hey, first of all, I want to thank you for calling in. Don't know much about the recall effort at all. Certainly wasn't a part of that. But more importantly, my team and myself, we've been out in the community in the city of Portsmouth, meeting with a lot of the constituents and residents. And what I can tell you is that we've got a lot of support in the community overall. And a vote for Shannon Glover is a vote for Shannon Glover. It's not a vote to split the vote. So that's what we believe.
All right. Okay.
Anything else?
All right. I just had some ill feelings about all the process that was going on, because in the past they've had mayors that has done worse and that has stayed in power. I'm talking before Mayor Holly. Before he got 2 terms, they had other bad mayors, and when he forced him out of office, when they denied him another term, they had in a ribbon cutter, and then they got tired of the ribbon cutter. So then Mayor Holly came back. That was Gloria Webb, and then all she did was do a lot of ribbon cutting and shook hands. Then they brought Holly back. So the politics of Portsmouth is kind of messed up, but hopefully things can be corrected. However, the petition drive that was done, I had questions about it when thousands of signatures were forged. It sounded like voter fraud all over again. And the person behind it, he's a businessman too. But he don't have a business here in Portsmouth. His residence is probably here, but his business is big enough that maybe he could put a little air shack of it here in Portsmouth. Then he'll have a bigger voice.
Hey,
Whether
Mike.
we like what he's saying or
Mike,
not.
I think when this thing is over, you're going to vote for Shannon Glover. I just got that feeling, Mike.
I do too, Mike. And Mike, let me just say something to you real quick. And I agree with you. All the problems and challenges we are faced with in Portsmouth, we can't necessarily put them all on our current mayor. I would agree with that. But just to answer your question and what you said, what you just described is who I am. I'm that breath of fresh air. I'm that new approach. I'm that non-establishment guy. And I'm making the commitment to serve you as well as every other citizen in the city of Portsmouth to make our city better, to bring living wage jobs, to heal, unite, and grow our city so that we can realize the potential that we all believe we know we have.
Okay.
Well, thank you,
All right,
Mike.
sir.
Thank you.
Yes,
Mike the
all right.
Republican. Let me just ask you this, Shannon. So let's talk about another one of your opponents, John Rowe. He's run the city 5 out of 6 years. He was the CEO.
That's correct.
I mean, if you don't think that things are going great in Portsmouth, I mean, just looking at this on paper, Kenny Wright was the mayor, Rowe was the CEO. I mean, why would you put either of them back in?
Well, that's what I've been saying the whole time. I'm the breath of fresh air. I'm the non-establishment candidate. If you look at the leadership that we've had the last 5 years as our CEO and our mayor, whatever challenges or ills that the city is currently going through, you have to look at their role in helping us get there. And that's fair. That's real. And it's just like my mama used to tell me, you have to be accountable for what you did when you were there. And so there are a number of things that were done, certainly while they were there. And I think that as citizens look at the information, they're going to have to make a real informed decision on, do they want continued establishment leadership in our city, or do they want to move our city in a new direction with a candidate that is interested in bringing business together, bringing community together, helping our young people to thrive and achieve That's what I believe the people of our city want, and that's why I'm running to be the next mayor of the city of Portsmouth.
All right, let's talk about the tolls that I know have really hurt your downtown trade. Now, Terry McAuliffe proposing some relief. Are you in favor of that?
You're correct in that the tolls have impacted Portsmouth adversely, particularly our business community downtown and our merchants. I am absolutely in favor of helping those who can least afford to pay those tolls. Yes, I am.
What about the jail?
That's a subject that a lot of folks don't want to touch, the jail. But
That's why we asked it.
Yeah, but let me be very clear. I understand that perhaps we are the only city in the United States that has its jail on its waterfront. Certainly, we need to move that jail. I don't think it's something that can be solved right away. Over time, we need to get a plan and a strategy together. But I would advocate for using the regional system, having us move our prisoners into a regional facility that everybody pays into and shares in the risk. That way, we don't commit ourselves financially in a big way to make that happen.
Coupled with the fact you've got great property, right? Riverfront property.
Absolutely.
That could be turned into something. But when this comes up, Bill Watson goes nuts.
Sure.
Why?
Well, I mean, the reality is Bill is the sheriff and he has his employees. And I get that. People will be impacted. And that's why I said we have to do it in such a way that it doesn't impact those men and women that do great work in the sheriff's department. And they have they have the desire to certainly want to continue to be in that capacity. The reality is we've got to move the jail off of the waterfront. How we do it, we can discuss that, and I think rational people will come to the right conclusion.
So, Shannon, we talk about getting the prison off of that waterfront property. What would you be in favor of replacing it with?
Well, I think a number of things come to my mind. Because I go back to the tourism opportunity, I think that we'll have to go and visit strategic places throughout the United States, maybe take a team of folks, and let's see what we can do with that waterfront. Let's bring in smart people that have developed those kinds of areas successfully, and let's look at the best practices of use for that particular area. That's what I would go to, and that's where I believe the future is.
Is there something you have in mind, though? I mean, other than going out and looking what other people have done, is there something maybe instinctively you think should go there that might help development in the area that you can be a little more specific on?
Not really at this time. I have some ideas, but in the interest of not sounding too crazy, I'll keep them to myself.
What about Senator Louise Lucas has been arguing to get a casino there? You think that'll ever happen?
Probably not in our current.
Not in our lifetime.
Not in our lifetime, because as you know, that has to go through the General Assembly, and I don't think the men and women up there have the appetite for that.
No, it is never going to happen. So good idea, perhaps, but you're not going to get casino gambling in Virginia in our lifetime. No question about it. And as Speaker Bill Howell said on my radio show, that will get passed over my dead body. So I would say that's probably not good odds right now. And Kirk Cox is majority leader, who would take over for him if he were to retire. He's not in favor of it either, although he's a great basketball coach. Shannon, look, you're a first-time candidate. What has been the toughest thing that you've learned?
John, by far the toughest thing that I've learned is being open in terms of having your life opened up and having people say things about you and perhaps people that you know and care about on social media and things like that. Also, I would say
nasty grams.
Nasty grams.
Oh, I get those every day.
I know, and it's okay. But the most challenging thing is just running a campaign. It's very taxing. It takes a lot of your time and a lot of your resources and a lot of your energy. And to put together a team of committed folks to help you get to a goal, I've learned that it's not as easy as it looks running a political campaign.
It really isn't. Now, what about raising money? A lot of candidates hate that.
I think.
candidates.
I mean, I don't hate asking for the order.
Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton don't mind it. Tonight they have $100,000 a plate fundraiser. Did you ever have $100,000 a plate fundraiser?
No, I haven't.
What would you get for $100,000? Influence. That's what you get. Influence, right? Mm-hmm. They're now paying $100,000 for a piece of chicken. Let me tell you that. It must be a very good piece of chicken. Go ahead.
But look, fundraising is one of those things you have to do to be successful, particularly in a local election. I don't dislike fundraising, but at the same time, there is a ceiling in which you go to, and you probably can't get beyond that. But I've gotten a lot of support from a number of donors and folks that have given generously to our campaign, and I'm very proud of that. I don't mind asking for help. And so that's the way I look at fundraising. You're asking for help, and the people that give you those funds are giving them to you so that they can help you win.
How's your fundraising gone?
It's gone well for the most part. As I said, I had never done campaign fundraising before, but we've raised, as our last report stated, upwards of $50,000.
That's not bad. I mean, look, first-time candidate, you're not going to get the developer money, right? That's the big money that goes in these races. Obviously, that's going to incumbent power so they can get their sweetheart deals made. That's just reality. So what's your pathway to victory here, Shannon Glover? Running for mayor, 3 candidates in the race that are viable. There's others, big 3, Glover, Rowe, and Wright. So you've got the incumbent mayor. You've got the bureaucrat. No disrespect to either of them, but incumbent mayor, bureaucrat, and then the outsider Glover. What's your pathway to victory November 8th?
Our pathway to victory November the 8th, John, is very clear. We've built a coalition unlike this city has seen in a long time. You know, we've built a following among black, white, young, old, men, women, the LGBT community, everyone that is a part of the Glover Coalition is excited about the breath of fresh air that we're going to bring to leadership in the city of Portsmouth. And I wouldn't have it any other way. You know, I believe in people coming together to work together to improve the lives of everyone. And I'm especially proud of the fact that we've been able to do just that. Bring everyone together, bring everyone in the boat, because ultimately we're all going to succeed or fail together. And that's part of my motto. One hope, one vision, one Portsmouth. Together, we're better.
Why should people vote for Shannon Glover if they want change instead of John Rowe?
Very clearly is because that is what it's going to be. It's not going to be status quo. I'm going to do the work and build the relationships and work across the aisle to ensure that everyone has a voice and everyone has an opportunity to be heard. And ultimately, I'm going to come and bring that vision with me that says that we can reach our potential. I'm going to show you how we're going to do it through economic development and workforce development, through helping our kids and our educators to improve our schools, also to help our fire and safety to make sure that they have the resources that they need to get the job done. And most importantly, I am going to work on the behalf of each and every citizen in the city of Portsmouth to make our city better.
Okay, Shannon, let's get to what really matters to a lot of people right now. The big question. Chicago, Cubs, Cleveland Indians. Who do you like?
You know, I was born and raised in northwestern Pennsylvania, a place called Erie. It's about 80 miles, I guess you would say, east of Cleveland. A lot of friends in Cleveland. I got to go with the Indians, man.
All right, you're going with the Indians.
I'm going with the Indians.
Take the dog. Shannon's going with the Indians. John Fredericks going with the Indians. If there was ever a reason to bet the Cubs, that's it. Michael, we're going with the Indians. Coach Bobby Heft, going with the Indians. A lot of people going with the Indians. I like the price, plus 180. I'm not going to lay 2-1. It's just too much. I mean, Cubs are tough. I mean, sometimes you see them play, they look like who's ever going to beat this team, 4-7. But Cleveland's solid, and they got 4 out of the 7 at home, so you don't know. Right?
And LeBron will be in the stands.
LeBron will be in the stands, and it's Cleveland's year, except for the Browns, 0-7. Here's my other question. Are the Browns going to go 0-16? Yes. Yes. They still don't have a quarterback. They've had like 1,000 quarterbacks in 20 seasons. When was the last good quarterback they had? You have to go back to Brian Phipps in like the 70s, right? When did they have a good
Bernie
quarterback?
Kosar.
Bernie Kosar. That was in the 80s? They got to go back to the 80s. All right. Shannon Glover, thanks for being with us, running for mayor of Portsmouth. Now, if you want more information, you can go to shannonglover.com. shannonglover.com.